Hey, this is Robbie. This is my first vlog of this new vlog series that I think I'm going to start doing. I want to start doing this for a few reasons. One, mainly it's for myself, right? I just want to kind of see what I'm thinking on a daily basis. I think we all go very linear, right? We worry about what's happening right now, maybe what's going to happen in the near future, but it's very hard for us to look back and really see all the little things that kind of ended up leading to right now. And you have an idea in your head, but when you have it actually recorded, I think it's a huge benefit. So that's one of the reasons. My name's Robbie. I am the founder of a company called We Are Realty. It's a real estate company based here in Venice Beach, California, Santa Monica area, Los Angeles. We service all of California at the moment. And I've been building a technology for about 3 years specifically for the real estate industry. One's a client-side interface so they can easily find properties. We show all types of properties, residential, commercial, and even business sales, because we're allowed to do that here by law. So that's a great portal. You can go on. You know, it took me a really long time to figure this out, but the whole idea was to have everything in a centralized portion. So now every one of our clients can log in, they can see their favorite properties. If I've shared any properties with them, I can save the searches, I can connect my current property. Soon you're going to be able to do rent payments through it, or list your property and then see all the offers. Our transaction section's awesome. You can see all your files there 24/7. Clients and agents can just upload it, and we can have compliance and approving things on the back end. There's just a lot of functionality to this site. I'll talk about that later, but that's not really what this video is about. This video is about the journey, because if and when, really is the better term, I'm successful with this company and the software platform and developing some really professional, skilled agents that can go on and help our clients improve the lives of everyone around us, basically. But to get just to where I am right now, where I'm not quite there yet, but I'm just on the brink of it because we're working out some bugs, we're getting our clients, but we're trying to really take this thing to scale 10, 100, 1000x this. So I wanted to kind of document, because I've been working on this for a very long time, but to me it's just a long time. I've really been working on this concept for about 5 years, and I don't even quite know how I ended up doing it. My journey to this point's kind of strange. I started out as a chef, actually, and went to culinary school, the Culinary Institute of America, which is considered probably the best school for culinary. And I was like team leader there. I was super into it, and I was working at all these different restaurants in DC and New York, and then I moved out to Las Vegas because I figured, hey, I can get another degree, right? I got a culinary degree, but I was like, I kind of want a business marketing degree so I can figure out, like, okay, I really like how to cook food. And to be honest, I liked making food, not for me, but for the people that ate it, because kind of the way they felt when they were eating it. It was, to me, it's art, and I think that's when you're doing it at that Michelin level, which we were doing it on, it really is. But it's definitely not easy, and the problem is it's an extremely difficult job, and it pays shit. Like, once I got into business school and I started running numbers on basically my life plan, I was like, this plan isn't that good. The only way the food plan would work is if I start to own the restaurants, and then I found out actually hotels are where the big money is at. Then I found out it's kind of like really the Monopoly game. You want to own multifamily rental properties, single family homes, and some occasions I would recommend it, and own the businesses and own the land. And hotels are actually one of the best per square foot, dollar for dollar investments if you get a good deal. and we do those. So if you're interested in investing in a hotel, we also do some syndication stuff, but can't really talk about that on here. Just go to wearerealty.com. You can get on there or just message me, and I'd be happy to chat. My direct number just comes to me directly. You don't have to deal with my assistant or anything. But somehow I ended up from going this cooking route and being so 100% into it. I'll give myself this. If I do anything, I go all in. And there's been times where I've hit really low points in my life, financially, emotionally. Life's a roller coaster, always. At least mine has been. I'm sure other people's maybe not as bad, and some people way worse. But to me, it was really about just learning to go all in on what I wanted to bet my future on. And that's been something that's driven me to this point, and I think it's going to continue to drive me, because I remember the moments, or I guess sections of times or chapters looking back in my life and seeing, hey, there was times where I was not financially successful or career-wise successful because my focus was scattered. And a lot of it had to do with hanging out with friends or chasing girls or wanting to party all the time. Or then it became like just having multiple business ideas. And now you're gung-ho on working and trying to create something. But then you have 4 or 5 different ideas kind of juggling at the same time. And they somehow connect, but you can't really get the details right and master it. You gotta master one thing first. And I had to crash all the way down to figure this out. And sometimes even doing that doesn't work. Sometimes the market doesn't want it, or there's just too much friction and variables involved to pull it off at the moment. So if I've learned anything though, it's that you got to start with a vision. And I've changed my vision a bunch of times. I mean, if you asked me when I was 16, right? So that was 15 years ago. So if you asked me when I was 16 what I wanted to do, which a lot of people did, and every one of them will say he wanted to be a chef. I was like known for this. My whole high school knew me for a few different reasons. Some of them because of some vandalism we did that was pretty stupid against a rival school. But the main reason was because I was like winning these awards and stuff. I won some award that I was on the Food Network for when I was in high school, so a bunch of people knew me there. I got to leave my high school, which is in McLean, Virginia, and I got to leave there every day to go to Chantilly, which was like 30, 45 minutes away, to take cooking for half the day in high school. So I got out of like all the BS classes. I only had to take the basics, which was actually pretty sweet. And they gave me one of those passcodes, or like a key card to get out, because I don't know why, they're like Nazis, but they're blocking all the entrances in the schools so kids can't leave. So we would like smuggle kids out in our trunk and then leave and go get lunch and just skip school. But that's besides the point. If you asked me back then, they would have said I wanted to be a chef. Now, if you ask me right now, would you say you've changed, now you're running a real estate technology company? That has nothing to do with the two. But to me, it does. And I think my end plan, what I want to do over here, connects all of it. So I'm just kind of in like this middle point, and I need to really jump it to the next level. And I'm pretty much working all the time to do that. And I want to show you guys not just like chatting back and forth, but the nuts and bolts, like how we're doing the coding, how we're doing, what programs we're using, how all the difficulties of testing for these different devices, the idea of implementing something, how to take it from a thought in my head to actually like typing out into code, to testing it, to it actually being usable, and now multiple people can use it. It's pretty cool. It's the same process though, in essence, of what I learned when I was cooking. I mean, the same process of when you create a recipe, it starts in your head. everything starts in your head. And I kind of always knew this, but I didn't really put the emphasis on it because I thought it was just our brains, electrical chemicals. You know, we have this chemical blood system in our brains right now, passing molecules back and forth and electrical signals, creating our thoughts. That's what I originally thought. And I think that's what we're taught for most of our years. But what I've learned within the past 10 years, 5 years, is that consciousness is not in the brain. Brain's probably just like a receiver. It's basically like an iPhone to the internet. Our consciousness is really like the internet, where it can go anywhere, multiple people can connect to it. It stores everything. It stores on different devices and the internet, but I think it's a lot like that, and our brains are more of a device, like an avatar. This is just an avatar. Like, I don't know, it kind of breaks down. I mean, have you seen Altered Carbon on Netflix, where you can have different sleeves? And you could watch some conspiracy videos with Donald Marshall. I don't know if I believe him or not, but he's saying cloning's going on. So this may just be an avatar. And maybe we can transfer our consciousness. So then we have to ask, what is consciousness? That's a little deeper question. Is it electromechanical? It's something that I think has been proven to have almost limitless bounds. The CIA and Department of Defense and DARPA did projects, all declassified, that tested remote viewing, which means they tested people reading serial numbers off a satellite, for example, or finding a specific area that no one knew about. These psychic connections allow them to verify, hey, they actually did know the serial number. They say they kind of remote viewed the satellite and actually moved their consciousness out into space to view this, or wherever that was. Now, I think that's true because you see it like minutely in our day-to-day lives, right? Have you ever thought of someone and then like 30 seconds later they call or text you and they're like, oh, I was just thinking about you? There's some type of connection. You know, if I got Wi-Fi all around me right now, I could click 2 buttons and now I'm pulling up pretty much any type of information that I want, which is awesome. But maybe it's way beyond that, and maybe we're connected to everything at once, and our thoughts are like matter. They actually have weight and consequences. So when I think a positive thought, it actually begins to move like a ripple. It's like if you throw a tiny pebble in the ocean, right? There's probably so many waves in a large ocean that it has no effect at all. You throw it in a tiny little pond or a bowl of water, it's gonna ripple the whole thing. What if thoughts are like that? And it's like throwing little pebbles out. But you have positive pebbles and negative pebbles. Well, I think there's some more truth to that than most of us want to realize, and I think a lot of people are on to scientifically figuring out what that is and how to measure it. What I've seen is that the story that I'm trying to get here on how I got from cooking to We Are Realty at the moment is that it started with my thoughts. And I think this is where a lot of people get wrong, and then they don't take it to the next step. Right? A thought is pretty much useless on its own. You have to pair it with action. But what I learned is it's more about just one thought. It's about compounding and focusing that thought. I think there's a lot of things I've read. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard a saying where you hold a thought for 14 seconds and it begins to manifest into reality. Let's say that's true. Does that mean if you hold it for 28 seconds, you now doubled the chances of it manifesting? So what if you visualize a future point, the point that you want to get to, your goal? Let's say it's right here. You got your goal, but you don't have the details, right? Your goal is fuzzy. I bet you, everyone watching this, your goal is fuzzy. It's probably different from my goal. My goal is like 5 things, which leads into one major goal. But I try to get as detailed as I can. So I try to envision a future point in time, maybe a year, maybe a few weeks, maybe 5 years from now, and exactly who I am at that point, as if I've been pulled to that point. And then I get really detailed on what's going on. What does it smell like? What does it feel like? Am I standing on grass? Am I sitting on a couch? Am I talking to someone? Is someone around me? What do they smell like? Are there any animals there? Is there a cat? Is there a dog? Are there none? Does it smell like it's just been cleaned? What is my day-to-day problems? What am I doing on that day? How am I getting to places? Really begin to get detailed at that future point of you achieving your goal. Once your goal is achieved, what does it look like? And then you can begin to work backwards on how to get there. So what I'm saying is you almost bring your consciousness to this future point. And then as if you're talking to your friend or a reporter, let's say you've hit your goal and a reporter's now interviewing you and says, how did you get there? What did you do to end up this successful? Right? Have that conversation with yourself. And then you'll begin to see all the little details, almost like cards or dominoes lining up that just fell. They all fell to meet that point where you're successful. That's what I want you guys to practice, because that's going to tell you what you have to do. And then you'll also start to minimize it and say, I wasted all this time doing this when I should have been focusing on this. Spend some time looking at your vision. Share this. I think everyone needs to get on this message. We need to be meditating more. We need to be thinking about what our ideal world is, because that's the only way you'll ever be able to achieve it.